How's it going?
Good morning, Doc.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you great. I'm just going to put my phone on Do Not Disturb here.
Okay, maybe I should do the same.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, got it. I'm gonna sit outside for this as
Sweet.
long as it sounds okay.
Oh, yeah. That sounds great. How's mine sound?
Perfect.
Perfect.
Actually, perfect.
Actually,
Yeah.
nice.
So tomorrow, 9 a.m., you're gonna be working. You want me to log in and do a show?
Yeah. Yep.
Right.
Tomorrow I'm working. You might as well.
Sounds good.
Yep. We'll get some recordings lined up here, and then yeah, maybe I see you can edit the shows in here too.
That's cool. I wonder what kind of tools they got for that.
Right? That is pretty cool. What about Bitcoin this morning? Do you follow Bitcoin?
Yes, I follow all the markets.
Shit is pumping this
It's up
morning.
to 118.
119, bro. 119.4 it popped up to this morning. I mean, it shot up.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, it is. All my meme coins are pumping.
Nice. You got a lot of crypto?
No, I wish I had a lot more, but I just started buying the dip during shearing season, and yeah,
Nice.
I used Grope to help me pick out some assets. I got some pudgy
Nice.
penguins. Pudgy penguins, man, that's the one for the win right there, buddy.
Never even heard of it. Is that some kind of shit coin?
Yeah, it's like massively viral on X right now.
Oh,
Pudgy penguins.
that's funny.
I know, it's insane. The market cap is ridiculous.
And it's all funny money. I used
1.7
to, I
billion
used,
market
I
cap.
used, I used to do a lot of crypto investing before my divorce.
Oh,
But then, when you get a divorce, you gotta like liquidate your assets, because they
yeah,
gotta be split.
yes.
So my investment account, I shut down. I shut down all my crypto. Never really reopened it.
Dang.
You know. Just let me know when you're wanting to record, or are we recording?
Well, it's recording right now.
Oh, okay.
As soon as I hit the live stream
Sorry.
button, that's all right. It's recording. But I
Yeah,
have to
I'm
blow
down
my
to
nose.
talk about whatever.
Cool. I got to blow my nose. I'll be right back.
All right.
All right, I'm back.
Hey.
Hey, welcome to the Uncensored Man podcast
Yeah.
with your host. What's my stage name?
I don't think you came up with one. You just call me Doc.
Doc.
Yeah.
Doctor.
Like DOCK.
Yeah, that's what it says here. Dock. I'm Corey. I don't have a stage name.
That's fine.
Hmm. Well, I wonder if we should just talk about the show a little bit, what we're doing, and why people should listen. I saw what you sent me. I got the PDF here.
Yeah. Just talk about daily life and the daily foibles of mankind, and
Right?
especially American women, and how to survive it.
How to survive it. That's actually, yeah, that's a good one. Yeah. I think what sparked this was just I went through a divorce just like you did, and kind of lost. I mean, I pretty much lost everything, like that I had going for me.
Yeah.
And it's just been,
Divorce tends to do that.
oh, it absolutely ruined me. And, I've dated different women, like, I don't know, not like a lot, but it seems like a lot. And it's just, I went through more pain after the divorce that, than the divorce breakup. It was crazy. It's like I was not
Oh
even
man.
totally
So did
unprepared
I.
for that. Days.
Well, see, when you're a divorce guy, you got to be careful about that because, especially if the divorce involved any kind of betrayal, like, you get out of it, you're very, like, devastated. You think to yourself, I'm gonna, you know, seek out other women. You can run into some really dangerous women and with that mindset. I mean, the women in particular with cluster B personality disorders have an affinity for broken men. And
Damn.
so what can end up happening is you can jump from your toxic marriage right into an even more toxic long-term relationship. And yeah, very frequently with divorced men, it's that borderline they date after their divorce, or the narcissist that they date, or the psychopath they date after their divorce that does even more damage. That for sure happened to me. I dated a girl with
Oh, man.
untreated borderline personality disorder. Now, I shouldn't say it like a lot of women have these personality issues, because they don't. It's like 2% of them, very small.
Oh, wow.
But the thing is, they're very overrepresented on things like dating apps. They are,
Yeah.
so you just got to be so careful, especially when you're seeking out that little bit of like, do women still desire me? You can run into some really dangerous bitches that way.
Yeah. That's what happened to me too, honestly. A dating app. I think it was like back then it was Plenty of Fish before we had
How
Tinder.
fucking old are you? That's old. They still have that one. That one's still around though, I think.
Yeah,
Plenty
I
of
think so.
fish. They should call it Plenty of Whales though, because that's all
Oh.
that's on the old stuff like Match.
Plenty of Whales.
I'm just saying.
Yeah. I
Yeah,
mean, I met this
that's what
chick.
they should call it.
She was pretty I thought she was pretty hot. I was like, "Dang, she's seems pretty cool," and, like, man, she's, like, love bombing me, and then, yeah, it was like,
You gotta
she
watch out
just
for that.
yeah, she turned
Anytime
into
they
total
anytime they
narcissistic.
super pet. Remember, the default for an American woman is to devalue you and to
Mm.
purposely play games and show disinterest. So if you get the opposite, you better just watch out. You better watch out if you get the opposite. Now, if you're in Latin America, where I date women, that is kind of the norm. Not love bombing, but definitely intention, straightforward, I'm really into you types of behavior. Here, the more a chick is
Natural.
into you, here, the more a chick is into you, the more she tries to like act like she doesn't give a fuck about you. It's very weird. It's very weird. The women play these weird games in America because they think it's like all like just a chess match. Like they think mating's like all a chess match. And they
Right?
made it so cumbersome and so fucking annoying and just so like
It's fucking
not
complicated.
worth it. Yeah, just so not worth it in many cases that it's like, bitch, I gotta discern all your internal like
Motives.
weird, dysregulated, single mom raised with no dad, like fucked up, programming, and I gotta
Yeah.
get past that somehow. It's just, yeah. So they're just a headache for so many reasons. But like I said, if you're a guy who's damaged after a divorce, you're gonna be damaged. I mean,
Mhm.
marriage in America is like a humiliation ritual if you're a young man. It's you
Oh,
piss away a bunch of money courting and dating them. You support them while you're working, oftentimes even if they're working, and then they take half your shit. If you're lucky, they don't take your kids more than half the time, but usually they do.
they might as well
And
just cut your
so
balls off.
they might as well cut your balls off or just fucking shoot you in most cases,
That's
truthfully.
what it feels like. It's so
Um,
demoralizing. It's just completely emasculating for most men.
yeah, that's why I say, just rent, don't buy. Just
Rent,
rent
don't
them.
buy.
Just rent them, don't buy them. Or go
Um,
overseas, get a new market. The models they sell here are defective. The ones although they would say we're defective too. To be fair, men are fucked up too.
absolutely.
But
They are.
I don't date men, so I can't really. But I'm sure I
Same.
feel for women. I mean, you look at the average guy today; he looks very just weak,
Yeah.
and that's if he can even roll out of bed and comb his hair and brush his teeth. Like a lot of men just forego basic grooming. That's how
Wow.
depressing the society is. It is what it is. But you know what? There's ways to thrive. Number
That's
1, you
the
can learn
spirit.
you can learn yeah, I'd wanna be positive, we talked about being positive, but
Yeah.
you can thrive in clown world if you just laugh at it all and don't take it seriously.
Well, I think there's something to that Andrew Tate mentality. Like, if you just get yourself right, like, and I'm far from right, man. I mean, like, I pray every day that I can fucking get my life together, but,
Yeah,
like,
let's
just,
talk about that. Let's
oh
talk
my
about that.
God.
Why isn't your life together? Not together in what way?
I mean, honestly, I don't know. I mean, I just don't have everything that I want. I don't have the nice dream house. I mean, I'm working on it. I do what I can, but yeah, like after the divorce, I just fell apart. And I mean, it just felt like my earning power went down. My, the depression was so bad. I mean, I woke up suicidally depressed every day for like 5 years straight, because I didn't get to see
Yeah.
my kids all the time. And like,
How'd you keep it together during those dark years,
I went to
the
celebrate
worst
recovery,
years?
man. Yeah, I went to celebrate recovery for 5 years straight.
Got
Every
it.
Friday and whenever they had these book studies, I'd go to those on Tuesdays. And I mean, I just see like, I don't know. You see people saying that they're working on themselves, but like, what the fuck are they doing? They're not doing anything. Like, here I
That's the
am going
key.
and doing all this shit. Like, I was actually doing the deal, man. I was there every Friday and every Tuesday, and I did the work, and I still was struggling, and I was like, damn, am I ever going to get my miracle here? And it still doesn't feel like I've got the miracle. It's like my life is still
Yeah.
not back together the way I'd like it. But
Eventually, you figured it out. You blew up on social media in a way that what 0.1% of people can do.
I
So
guess.
you've been more successful in certain domains that many people have tried to go down that path of like getting eyes on themselves. And you've done it on multiple platforms, 1 million viewers, subscribers. So you
Yeah,
figured out something, you succeeded in a major way in an area where the vast majority of people who try fail. So doesn't that elevate you in some way?
in some ways, yeah, it does. In another respect, it didn't come with the money that I thought it would come with, so it was severely disappointing.
Do people greatly overestimate how much
Oh, yeah, I mean,
so-called influencers make?
here's the thing, it really depends on what your content is about. I mean, that has everything to do with how much you're going to make. And yeah, so the type of content that I make, it just does not pay
Got
ad
it.
roll. It's just not there. I mean, I can get 4 million views on
You
YouTube
know
this month for like $90.
this is like the curse of the average or above average intelligent man, is he thinks too much about his plight, whereas here you are, a guy who's had major success. It's like that should anchor you a little bit and boost you. Like, surely those skills are valuable, even if in your niche it's not as what is the point of that? Like, so people with your type of content, you don't get paid for what? Why? What will be the difference between yours and like someone who does sport? Because you put a lot of sheep shearing videos.
Right. Because
So
there's not a lot of
why is
advertisers,
your I
just not a
see.
lot of advertisers in that space. You know what I mean? It's a
I
big
see.
industry, but as far as advertising in that space, I was one of the first people to start making shearing videos on the internet, right? Outside
Yeah.
of a couple other people. There was one other gal that was making pretty viral videos, but I hit it early and, you know, really struck while the iron was hot. And I knew how to do I knew a little bit about YouTube and the algorithm. And I knew that once they reward you for something, it's all about like staying in your lane, like in your niche. Like the first YouTube channel I created, I was all over the board, right? I was making videos about everything, like how to videos, reviews. I was talking about this kind of stuff, life stuff. And, you know,
Yeah, it's all
it,
over the place. Kind of like me and TRT, you
yeah, but
know.
you're still pretty niche down. I mean, you've got the guys, you cater to guys. It's going well.
So
It really
niche
is.
is not bad. You know,
So niche is very important. Like if you're going to do something, you got to stay in your niche
that's the
and you got to
thing
drill
is
down on it.
I don't know if you ever heard of him.
What's that? Cut out just a little bit.
And uh, he
You're
has a
cutting out.
lot to say about women and stuff that's hilarious. Happiness, according to am I cutting out a little bit?
Yeah, I didn't
Can
hear
you
any
hear
of
me
that.
now?
Yeah, I can hear you now. Yep. I missed that who you were talking about.
Can you hear me now?
Now it sounds like
Yeah, I
you.
was quiet, so you can hear me now.
Yeah, I can hear you.
What? Um, a lot of philosophers like Schopenhauer.
Ah, you're not there. Yeah, you're in a tunnel. You're in a tunnel, Doc, and we can't hear you. Yep. The internet demons have hopped on. Doc is no longer with us at the moment. I don't know if you can hear me, Doc. Oh, we lost him. Shoot, we lost the Doc. He'll be back. He'll be back. He's destined to be on this show. Yes. Well, we'll just wait for him for a minute here. Anyways, oh, this is a good talk. Let's see if I can. Oh, there he is. He's back. Okay. invite as speaker. And here he is. Should be back any second. Come on back, Doc. Hmm. This is like a little bit of internet trouble. Mm-hmm. What happened? All right. Doc's got to restart his phone. Ah, there we go.
Can you hear me?
Hey, I can hear you now.
Sorry about that.
That's all right.
So just tell me when you're we haven't been live streaming at all the whole time, right?
Yeah, the live has never stopped. It's still going. It's good.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I
So
can
we
just
are
edit
live.
that out. I can just cut that part out
Yeah, all right.
through, through the fancy editing tool.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
Yeah, what I was saying is I was saying I was reading philosophy a lot lately, and how even the old depressive German philosophers like Nietzsche and Schopenhauer would talk a lot about how your mindset was the most important thing in your determining your happiness. Like your wealth, material wealth doesn't determine it, even though we all think, oh, if I could have a lot more money, I'd be a lot. Ancient philosophy and even modern studies where they've looked at happiness measures amongst rich versus middle income versus poor people would say that, past a very low threshold amount, you don't really gain any additional happiness from having more.
You're cutting in and out. You're still cutting out on us.
Cultivate gratitude for the things that you do have, right?
You cut out there for about 10 seconds. I I don't know. I
I,
think you're
I
saying,
okay. Let me move my chair back.
are you on
I
Wi-Fi?
don't know. Yep,
Do you want to try it? You're outside. Do you want to try it without Wi-Fi maybe?
sure. I could
Yeah, I'll
do
just
that.
turn the Wi-Fi off. I think that's the problem right now with you being outside.
All right, let me do that. I was in El Salvador, so I had to go through and selectively like turn off apps and stuff because for cellular data, because they charge you for it. All right, Wi-Fi.
Yeah.
Okay, I turned it off.
Okay, great. That should probably. I bet that solves the problem.
All right. So what I was saying, what well, let's try to get a conversation thread. What were we talking about?
All right. So you were talking about philosophy and Nietzsche and happiness.
Yeah. Well, the point is just like even the old German philosophers who, if you read them, a lot of their shit is kind of depressing. and pessimistic. But even they say, having a good mindset, having a good, uh, almost positive explanatory style, and cultivating gratitude for what you do have is like 90% of your happiness, whereas 10% comes from your material wealth or your reputation or status.
Wow.
So I think that's a good lesson for people. In fact, Arthur Schopenhauer would write about how actually, it's good to just reframe whatever plight you're in, even if it's terrible. And basically, your mindset it just determines reality eventually. So if you have a shitty, miserable constitution, even if you're rich, you're still going to be miserable,
True.
you know?
Yeah. You just have other
So
problems, or
one
you have
thing one thing I get like a lot of the manosphere stuff is wrong is they teach people, oh, just get rich, just grind and chase that bag. And I don't know. I don't think that that's actually the key to happiness. I think
well, I
yes,
think
having a
it's gonna leave a
purpose.
lot of people, feeling hopeless because, there's just a lot of people that I mean, they're not gonna reach, they're not gonna attain
Right.
wealth.
It's not possible, yeah.
Yeah. I
But
mean,
a lot of the popular red pillars or what manosphere guys would respond and say, "Well, that's a pussy excuse." But it is true. I mean, if you have limited skills and you're of average intelligence, I mean, getting rich is gonna be very difficult. I mean,
right? I mean, that's how I feel half the time, like, fucking A, I'm just, like, pretty average, honestly, like, what the
yeah.
fuck? But,
But I think the good news is, well, I think you're different because you have a social media empire. Maybe you just haven't learned how to fully. You've done things that most people can't do. Vast
maybe
majority of
so.
people can't get a million eyes on 3 different social media accounts. Even chicks
Right.
can't do that a lot of times, using their bodies, which is like the easiest mode of easy mode things.
Wow.
So, but I think the good thing is happiness, doesn't necessarily come from having a lot of stuff or being rich. It comes more from enriching your mind and trying to be thankful for what you do have. And that's the lesson I think of the ancient philosophers. That's why guys should read philosophy today. To read philosophy for a lot of reasons. Number one, it enriches your mind. But number two, the old philosophers were very misogynistic and racist.
Oh,
And so that shit is hilarious to read today. So, I mean, if you you really wanna get past the political correctness filters that still exist a little bit on social media, just read, like, Schopenhauer or
really?
Nietzsche or something. Yeah, especially Schopenhauer. Schopenhauer had some very interesting things to say about women, but actually so did Socrates, so did Aristotle.
Interesting.
All the ancient philosophers were very misogynistic. That's why it's so funny to read today. It's so politically incorrect. It's like, how do they teach this at these left-wing universities? And many times they don't, though,
Hmm.
you know? But that's why I think guys should read. People don't read anymore.
You're not wrong. I mean, I haven't read a lot of stuff either. I listen to a lot of things.
You know what reading's good for, especially in your line of work or one of
What
your lines of work, which is social media,
what's
is
that?
since social media destroys your attention span,
Wow.
like, it hijacks your attention span, that that's true,
Oh, man, it's
right?
horrible. Oh, yeah, I'm
Yeah,
wrecked. I'm
yeah,
totally wrecked.
so reading a book that's a little bit hard to understand and follow and forcing yourself to do it is a good way to, like, recultivate the neurocircuitry, okay? The brain's very plastic. It's a good way to rewire it for, how do I wanna say it?
mush brain, TikTok
for
brain.
see, there's my yeah, for TikTok brain. My
It
attention
is.
span
It's
was
just
fading right there.
TikTok brain, social media brain, whatever you want to call it. I've got it. I know what you're talking about. I mean, I'm acutely aware of the fact, like when I'm just sitting here on my phone, I'm like extremely antisocial and I don't want to talk to nobody, but I do. I desperately want to have some friendships and hang out with people, but like
Yeah,
it's so easy to just get stuck in my home by myself. I don't have a woman. You know what I mean? Like my kids are, they're kind of doing their own things. And it's just like, damn, like, what am I doing? Like for friendships. And
yeah. You
like, I've
talking to
tried to,
me?
I'm talking to you and I do that. Like I purposely, I've been pretty good about doing that, like cultivating relationships and like making phone calls to people. But it's like very intentional. Like I'll make myself I used to have this thing when I like after my divorce and I had like I was saying, like just severe depression, like suicidally depressed every single day. I'd just wake up and not want to be alive and I'd go to bed praying that I wouldn't wake up. And
And that went on for years, huh?
yeah, years. And there's still times where I feel that way. Like I just don't want to wake up. Like just let me go to sleep and not wake up. I'm just so tired of this. And but I did this thing where I would plan phone calls with like three different guys a week, like
Hmm.
dudes. Yeah, like trusted friends, like good friends, people that I know that are gonna like build me up and lift me up. And I did this for probably like a year, or two. Um,
Yeah. And
good
did they? Did
stretches.
those phone calls work?
I'll tell you what, they probably saved my life in many ways. Yeah,
Why?
because because we like to isolate. When you're feeling out here depressed and lonely, and especially if you're divorced, I mean, it's just compounded big time because you're just a big, I mean, you feel like a big pile of shit, You're just emasculated, you feel worthless. Your earning power has gone down because you're depressed all the time. You can't perform, you just don't feel like a man. And like, you got to have people that are going to build you up, or I don't know, you just feel extremely disconnected. And like when I go and make these calls, I feel connected again. And that's what makes me feel okay. And no amount of money can really fix that. You know what I mean? So,
Right.
it's true, and it just makes you feel like a spirit of gratitude, right?
Yeah. So that's another thing is a lot of men today don't even have friends like that.
They got to make them. They do. They just don't. They don't think that way. They don't intentionally do that, right?
Yeah.
But
So
I've
how
had
do
some
you do that?
practice. Well, I've been through some programs, some 12-step programs, and I had a sponsor one time that made me call him every day for like a couple years straight.
Wow.
And yeah, I was like, what the fuck? I mean, I was like all cool about it. And then he was like, yeah, I want you to call me every day. And I'm like, oh, for real?
Yeah.
Like, oh
Why?
man,
You
this is,
felt he was like babysitting you a little bit?
yeah. But it got me, to where, I mean, I'm okay with that now. Like I get the value in it. Like it's very, like if men could learn that if they could just make a couple phone calls a week, if they did it intentionally, like if they picked out like two different guys that are like going to be uplifting and encouraging. You know what I mean? You gotta be careful. You don't want somebody that's like, you gotta be somebody that you feel like you can talk to them about anything and it's not gonna bring you down after because you're already down. Like, you're not gonna call your dad because, like, your dad's just gonna bring you down. You know what I mean? Like, you know what
Or
I'm saying?
lecture you? Yeah, sure.
Yeah, or lecture you. You gotta have somebody it's gonna be a conversation and not a condescending, lecture. Like when you try to
Sure.
tell them all your shit, like that's what I found. Like that's really, really important because it can go the other way too. You can get off a phone call and feel just as bad or worse about yourself too if you're talking to the wrong people.
Yeah, you and stay away from those negative people.
Hmm.
A lot of people are just very negative. Some people would say I'm negative. I just say I'm more, grounded in reality. I think it's just hard to is a fine line between, being overly optimistic and being delusional. Being too pessimistic can be delusional too. But for example, like how this works is like if you have male friends, the good thing about male friends is they should, if they're functioning correctly, tell you the truth.
Absolutely.
Like if
Yeah.
you're a recently divorced guy, you're depressed, and you call up a friend, you say, "You know what? I think I'm gonna go put 500 grand on red at the Riverboat Casino." Hopefully,
Right.
your friend would be like, "You're a fucking idiot. Don't do something like that."
Exactly.
You know,
Oh, yeah, I
or
agree.
or if you do and you lose it all, they're there, help pick up the pieces, so to speak. That's what men are for. Men need friendships, I think sometimes even more so than women. Um, it's just a fact. Like a lot of guys just with the quality of life. For most lonely men, they think their quality of life will go up if they introduce a woman into it. But
Mm,
in most cases, long term, a huge quality of life increase comes from having close male friendships that you can rely on.
wow.
I think
Um,
that is a bigger hack.
I'm not gonna lie, that's you just nailed it. That's, like, exactly how I felt for since my divorce, like, I need to get a woman back in my life stat, I'm lonely, depressed, and that would just make
Yeah,
but,
that's when you make the most mistakes. Trust me, as a doctor who sees a lot of these men,
oh,
um, that's the big mistake. The big trauma comes not from the divorce, it comes from the relationship right after. That's
damn.
when you really fuck yourself up. That's why they say don't date after a divorce
I
or
know,
after
and
a
you
major breakup.
that's when you're, like, the most desperate to get with someone, like,
Yeah.
oh,
But
it's
it's also
horrible.
because you're most desperate that you end up making bad choices, you know. So that's where the wisdom of just stay away from women for a while comes from.
I did have someone, a trusted friend tell me that, and I just didn't listen, he's like, "Don't date for a year," and I'm like and I mean, I didn't even know if I could pick up a woman, I just felt so insecure, it
A
was just
year is a
bad.
lot. Like for example, for me, of not a year of abstinence for me sounds like a fucking nightmare. It really does. I know some guys will listen to that and be like, I haven't had sex in 7 years and I have a bunch of dogs and I relate to my dogs better than women. Okay, well, I couldn't do that. That would drive me to absolute insanity. In fact, I'm like kind of depressed. I'm not going anywhere this week. You
Yeah.
know, usually I'm in Mexico or El Salvador or something. I'll be home all week and doing this show and stuff. So, that's hard to do, but you do have to cultivate that kind of discipline because, like I said, it's when you're most desperate, that's when you introduce the most dangerous women into your life. And
Yeah.
especially on these dating apps, as we said, a lot of these women with personality disorders, there's not a lot of them when you look at the whole population. It's like 2, 3% are clinical narcissists or psychopaths or borderlines. Borderlines are really dangerous. But they're
Borderlines.
very heavily overrepresented on these fucking dating apps where they specialize in finding damaged men. They go for damaged men. So, actually, if you've ever really been in a relationship with a real personality disordered woman, a lot of people say, "Oh, my ex is a narcissist," not and 90% of the time that's bullshit.
Right.
Women say that, men say that, it's bullshit in the vast majority of cases. But if you have been in one with a real, like, diagnosable NPD or BPD person, then there's something fucked up with you. There's something really wrong with you.
I
Just
have
a
been.
very, and that's what I had to accept too, because I went from a very traumatic divorce to an almost 2-year relationship with a woman with untreated borderline personality disorder, and it
Yeah.
was the after relationship that was
Oh, it just
the
fucks with your
most
head so
damaging.
bad. I mean, you're just
That's where
constantly
the most damage is gonna be done. That's when the most damage is gonna be done. So,
it's like mental gymnastics trying to figure these it's like
Well, people say like don't want to date after a big breakup or divorce because it's not fair to the other people you go out with because you're not like mentally ready and you're not in a commitment mindset, whatever the dumb fucking things people say to each other. Actually, the not dating part is to protect your youth from making terrible decisions.
For real.
It's like,
Except you just feel
if
like
you're
if you
if
could just
you're if
find the
you're
right
an al
person, you would
well,
just
it's
feel
like
so much better.
it's like if you're an alcoholic, right? Like, and you need to hit the ATM, are you going to go to the gas station or the liquor store? You know, you just need the ATM, but is it really a good idea to walk into the liquor store when you can go to the gas station?
Right?
Right? So you don't even want to tempt yourself with that. So, yeah, more men have been destroyed by the relationship after the divorce than the divorce itself. The
Wow.
divorce for men in America, because it's such a traumatic event, studies show it's about as stressful as getting a non-terminal cancer diagnosis. That's how stressful it is for men. It's such a stressful, traumatic thing that actually I would like to argue that most men in America today actually need that kind of trauma because there are many men that get married young and they don't go through any real hardship because they grew up coddled, right? They're millennials or whatever.
Mhm.
And if they grew up in an intact household, you need that divorce. That divorce is actually the trauma you need to change because men really, if you are a fat, overweight, lazy piece of shit, with no goals and just coasting, the type of guy that would get divorced, by the way, that was me before my wife filed for divorce. You actually need that trauma to actually change. It is traumatic. It's traumatic enough to fuel change. Men don't really change of their own volition. I mean, women don't either. People don't generally change at all, period. But if they do, it's usually because their environment changes or because they experience massive trauma. The good thing about divorce is it's usually both because, for example, most men get kicked out of the house. You got to go live in a one bedroom shithole apartment.
Oh,
You know, you got to sit there with the mattress and the single, $19 lamp from Walmart right next to the mattress, and that's a harsh.
dude, mine was
So
a
that's like,
$3,500 trailer house in a ghetto trailer park that was run down. I was like, "It's
yeah,
t yeah." And then she's living
yeah,
in a nice, what do you call
that
that?
you're paying for. That's your
Subsidized
fucking.
housing with
That
all
you're
the
most likely paying for. That you're
well, I'm
most likely paying for too.
yeah, I'm
And
paying
most
for
men
it.
need that. A lot of guys who go through that need that trauma because they'll never change without something like that happening.
Mm,
They'll never change without something like that happening. That's just a fact. How many people do you know really change without significant? It's like the old saying, you have to hit rock bottom.
yeah,
Like, most alcoholics, right? What eventually fuels them to stop drinking if they ever do?
being sick
Is
and
it
tired of being sick and tired.
Yeah, it's not like, oh, you wake up one morning and you still have your job and you're still married and your wife's tolerating it. It's not like that situation, right? Like,
Right.
oh, this is eventually gonna hurt me, I better stop. It's normally like I've lost fucking everything. It's
Right.
literally this or I'm just gonna basically die,
Yeah, and you scrape
right?
on bottom long enough and you just finally
You
realize
you
like,
agree with
fucking
that
nothing's
though?
gonna change.
Do you agree with that though?
Oh, yeah, I do agree, like, you're not go nothing's gonna change, unless you're honestly, yeah, unless you're pretty hard pressed.
So that's
Sometimes
the
you have to
thing.
go through the trauma.
That's the thing is there's a lot of self-help resources for divorced men that try to get them to positively reframe the experience and say this is a way for me to start over and all that stuff is is good. It's good to know those cognitive techniques and everything. But more important than that, I think, is just understanding what changed my life for the better after my divorce was realizing I actually needed this. I lived a very soft life. I went through some challenges here and there, med school, residency, all that shit is very stressful or can be. But I wasn't gonna really significantly change my life until this happened. I this is the trauma that God sent me to change my life, for better or for worse. This is a good
So,
thing.
what did you
This
do?
is a good thing.
What changed?
What changed is I lost a lot of weight, started my own business, the first one of which failed, started another one, also failed, started a third one, and it's succeeding. But yeah, went from being 325 pounds to like 210,
What?
something like that. Yeah,
Damn. Damn.
fixed my body, became
Wow.
more mentally tough, became a womanizer. That wasn't so good. Still working that one out. But, it's like one thing at a time.
One thing at
It's
a
one
time.
thing at a time. Yeah, better to be fit and decently good looking and miserable and divorced than, you know, fat, out of shape, tired, depressed, and divorced.
Right?
So, it is what it is, but that's how I would
I
look at it. And
I
a
think
lot of
there's a
men
lot of
don't look at
truth
it
in
like
that
that.
where you just like, that's one of those Tristan Tate, Andrew Tate things, I mean, they talk about getting rich, but they talk about getting fit. And that's the one thing that I think you can never fail with is like if you're working out
Never.
and that, push-ups never fail, working out never fails like that. And then just even in the moment, like the amount of lift that you get from depression or what it does to help you mentally.
It's
is-
also important, I think, as a man to feel pain daily and to be comfortable with feeling pain. So, things like resistance training is a way to put your body through pain. It's also a good way to transduce emotional pain into physical pain too.
mm,
So, it can help you get you out of your head and pain is very important. We replenish dopamine when we experience pain. That's one of the major benefits, like ice baths and stuff. But it's about getting stronger, getting a better physique, sure, aesthetically, health-wise, but also just it's the practice of being comfortable with pain.
right. And being comfortable with yourself too. Like, what
Well,
guy do you know that's all jacked up?
being comfortable with yourself if you're I don't know if I wanna say good enough to be comfortable. For
Well, yeah.
example, if you're fat and lazy, you shouldn't really feel comfortable with yourself.
No.
You should
But what
feel
guy do you with
profoundly
a
uncomfortable.
what guy that's jacked up and, got his muscles looking good is, having a bad day? I mean, I'm sure you have a bad day, but you know what I mean? I think there's a lot
Yeah.
to that.
Well, a lot of a lot of people would say you should just feel uncomfortable with yourself till the day you die, because there's always ways and areas you can improve. I don't believe that. I don't believe at the extreme, definitely if you have areas where you're self-sabotaging yourself, you shouldn't feel comfortable about that.
Right?
But past a certain point, you should feel comfortable with yourself. I think that's really important. And so I treat a lot of bodybuilders, for example, and one thing that's a problem with them is a lot of them disproportionately have body dysmorphia. So they see their muscles as being, much smaller than they are. They think they're fatter than they really are. So they get locked into body image issues that they'll never satisfy,
Never.
for example. So that's an extreme example, but there are even some lesser, examples of people, some people can't make enough money, some people can't,
That's me.
achieve as much, whatever. At a certain point in time, you do have to just enjoy life and enjoy yourself and be happy with yourself. If yourself is worth being happy with, which,
Well,
you know,
there's a lot to be said about that gratitude. I have this thing that pops up on my phone every day. It's like in the morning, it's a daily reminder to make a list of all the things I'm grateful for
and
because
do you do that? Do you stick with that?
yeah, I try to. I really do.
Yeah.
I've missed it a few times, but like when I start getting in the mindset that, like, I don't have anything I want, right?
Yeah.
It's just like you start getting ungrateful and you're just, yeah.
The
So
two
like,
the two things I'd like to incorporate for sure into my life is like gratitude journaling and meditation, because these are two things that are very well scientifically supported as life enhancing. The gratitude thing, just like you said, wake up and write down two or three things that you're grateful for. It forces you to think about things in your life that are very good and that, comparatively speaking, other people don't have. And so you take it for granted, overlook it. And so I think
we
that is
do.
really important because
We take a
most of your
lot for granted.
happiness, a lot of your happiness, like I said, comes from enjoying the journey to wherever you're going. If
Yeah.
you rest all your happiness on the destination, oh, I want to have a big house, a hot wife that doesn't cheat on me, that's American. Good luck finding that. I'm just kidding. Um, Kids and the six-figure salary, whatever. It's it's a um it's what we call the rat race, right? If you're running the rat race, you'll never be happy because the rat race never ends. Okay. So it's good to have goals, it's good to achieve those goals, but it's better if you enjoy the process, you know? It's
Yeah.
like this show. Doing this show is our first episode ever. No live listeners.
No,
But
no life
I
lesson.
I still appreciate it because this is catharsis in many ways, putting your thoughts and feelings out on the airwaves. This isn't something I would do normally, right?
No.
So the process, I think, is more fun than that should be where you derive, I think, the most pleasure. And
Yeah,
if you
I'm
have
not
a
gonna
lot of
lie. I
boredom,
was pretty jacked up this morning about the podcast. I mean, like I woke up and I was like, "Oh, damn, I was actually running just a little behind," and I was like, "I need to get going because I got this episode we're going to record today." I'm like really grateful. This is like I've dreamed about doing a podcast for probably several years. I've had this framework for this show, like all the socials set up, and I even have this fancy uncensored man mug I use every day, and I'm like, yeah, this is my show, but I don't have an episode yet. And then I start talking to you,
well, you
and
know
then
what? Well, you know what? This is all stuff that this should go into the first episode. This should get uploaded, even if nobody listens to it. It'll be funny if in a year from now we're listening to it together
I
and
know,
and
right?
just laughing at the progression and everything that's happened. Even if a year from now there's only 5 listeners, right?
Right.
It'll be still very interesting. I've always wanted to do talk radio. That was like my dream job as a kid. I even dabbled with it in college, and so much to the point where I almost left med school to do a talk radio show
Wow.
in New Hampshire. Could have done that. Could have
Dang.
done a daily talk radio show on a radio station. And I decided to stay in med school because I figured, this is like being a good talk show host is a lot of accumulating wisdom and experience that you can actually transmit through the airwaves. Like, who the fuck wants to hear a mid-20s guy with no life experience? Like, you know what I mean? So I figured this is my dream, but it's a dream I can put on hold,
Right.
and actually go through some things, and it'll make me more interesting, maybe. For me, I think the most interesting talk show hosts started off late, like they weren't from a young age. Like you think of guys like Michael Savage, you ever listen to him back in the
No.
day?
No.
Or like even okay if you don't agree with his politics, like Rush Limbaugh.
I've listened to Rush
Remember
Limbaugh
him?
a bit. Oh, yeah. He
Yeah.
was so interesting. Like, he's just hard not to listen to.
Yeah, and so a lot of those guys, they didn't this wasn't their lifelong thing. It was a later career change, and I think that's what made them interesting. Like, for example,
Awesome.
Ben Shapiro is fucking boring to me for so many reasons. I hate his Zionist shit, but more than that, it's just like he's just a whiny, snivelly, like, I grew up and I've been doing this since I was at Harvard, owning the libs and talk rates. Like, who the fuck is this kid? He's born with a silver spoon in his mouth. And I still think he's a kid, even though I think he's older than me. But
How
um,
old is he?
I don't know. Mid
Ben
30s, maybe,
Ben
something like
Shapiro.
that.
How old are you, Doc?
37 going on 38.
Okay, he's 41. I'm 48.
Gotcha. So yeah, but that's, I think, the thing is, if you're gonna make content, especially for men, gotta be somewhat it's gotta be a mix of entertaining, a mix of valuable life lessons. Men really like stories, if they can pay attention to them, and that kind of thing, and wisdom too.
Right? Well, now's a better time to start the show. I mean, I'm not gonna
Well,
lie, I've always had a
there's a
dream
lot of
of being
aimless
on, like, a
guys.
talk show host or, like, on radio, but I didn't feel like, if I didn't know if I could do it or not, and now it's like anybody can start a show if they want, and I guess, your listeners is what's gonna tell you
And
if it's
anybody
working.
does.
Yeah,
And pretty much anybody does.
yeah, so here we
Um,
are.
so here we are. So here we are, Sunday.
But I would argue that it's better if you can start your own show because it's better to
Yeah.
be an owner than another just chimp on the wheel, for somebody else's show or, under somebody else's halo.
Yeah. But I think it's always better to be your own boss,
Right?
just in
That's
general.
I can't honestly I don't know if I can work a real job anymore. That's why I go shear sheep. I mean, it is kind of like you're working for somebody else, but at the end of the day, most of the time you just got your head down and you've got your headphones in and you're doing your own thing for the most part.
Yeah, it's just having a boss, I think, is very emasculating these days. And especially if you're in a large corporate work structure where you have to deal with the HR bimbos,
God, I hate that.
it's very dehumanizing. And yeah, that's why I like being on my own and just answering to myself. It is stressful. I mean, you gotta produce,
Right?
you gotta produce tangible stuff. But I think the trade-off is worth it, just having control of your own life. Your potential income potential is usually gonna be way higher, going into business on your own, usually anyway.
Absolutely.
But I don't know. I don't know. The job route is a good way too. However you can get some peace in this clown world ass society, you know?
Yeah. I'd rather go my own way and do my own thing. I've contemplated like, do I just need to go get a job? And, because like this, what I do is seasonal. I mean, there is some work throughout the summer, but it's like, it's just not enough. So I do have to figure other things out. So, like, yeah.
Yeah. Well,
La- Last summer, I flipped a mobile home. So I've done like real estate. I've probably flipped a handful of houses, but I've also flipped a handful of trailer houses too, because 'cause they're just, like, easier like, financially, it's just easier to get into a cheap trailer house. You can buy them for nothing and then fix them up and still make, like, a huge return, like, a really nice return.
You do all the work yourself,
Yeah,
all the
and I get a little bit of
improvements.
help. I get a little bit of help.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, having projects is important, especially if you can monetize them. I feel like my hobby is I work and then I go to Latin America and drink too much and um mix with the locals a little bit too much,
Oh, yeah?
you know.
I mean, I would that's not a bad hobby. I'd like to travel more. Again, it's just an issue of like, man, I'm like still paying child support and trying to maintain my own life by myself, and it's
And
I
I
don't
get it.
uh,
Well,
if
it's
the
expensive. America, living in America is so expensive these days.
I don't even live extravagant. I mean, I do have a nice pickup and a nice motorcycle, and I have a cheap house. I have a cheap house.
Yeah. Well,
But, I try to live I don't know, I look at it though too as like I can get depressed about that, but at the same time I think, "Damn, I mean, I at least I own it," but, it's like all these people that are paying like rent, 12, 1,500 a month, like just like giving I can't
I
not
wish I was paying that much.
wow. I
I
mean, just
wish I was
even that
fucking paying
much.
that
You're
much.
probably paying a lot more than that.
Well, shit. Yeah. It's everything's expensive. That's why I say to young men, like, consider life outside the US. If you're not tied down to America, like in terms of you got family here, I mean, even if you do got family here, consider going abroad, especially if you work some online job. Your
Mm,
quality of life and expenses are gonna be way lower in, like, fucking Mexico, for example, or somewhere in Latin America, and the dating scene will be a gazillion times better,
gazillion?
especially if you're just an average guy. A gazillion's overselling it, it'll be a significant improvement, put it to you that way.
Yeah. You'll be able to meet women with clear intentions. Like, it's not like fucking rocket science. You don't have to, like, take all these fucking online dating courses and dumb bullshit and play a bunch of games.
Yeah, well, you'll be able to meet women. I don't know about
Okay.
clear intentions, but,
Okay, maybe.
you're more likely to meet women with clear intentions overseas for sure.
I've met a couple foreign women too, and it's like they don't I mean, it's like it's not a game, it's just like that what their motives are. I mean, they might not be a great match, but like, it's not like some rocket science game to get with them.
Yeah. Well, I just prefer the foreign girls so much better. That's just my preference, you know?
Yeah.
But women are dangerous no matter where you get them from. They just are. I mean, you gotta be careful too, like, if you live overseas. I was on this guy's show yesterday, Passport Bro Coach on TikTok. So we
Seriously?
started we started doing a live stream every Saturday. Yeah, and we talked about this. Um, so a lot of the criticism of Passport Bros, that's like when you go to a foreign country to try to find like a woman, relationship, whatever.
Right.
The criticism is like, yeah, the women you find there will just want you for your money. And my thing was, okay, how's that any different from the US?
Exactly.
I don't think it's any different. I also don't think it's really a problem per se. I mean, women like a lot of things. The question is, are they capable of having exclusive intimacy with you? Like, do they want intimacy with you? Gold diggers don't want intimacy. It's all about secondary gain, you
Right.
know.
They're
So
gaming you. They're gaming you. Gold diggers are
yeah,
gaming you.
that's the difference. So, but the difference between a gold digger and a regular woman isn't, oh, the gold digger wants your money. they both want your money if you have money, or they want your ability to get money or procure secure resources. That's just normal. Women shouldn't be faulted for that any more than men should be faulted for wanting, a nice rack and you know, all the body parts we like, all the
Right.
things aesthetically we like about women. We shouldn't be shamed for that, and they shouldn't be shamed for wanting a man with resource potential. So it's not, oh, they're just out for your money. Well, no, it's just out. Like, is that the only thing they like? Is that like I said again, I think gold diggers are just they don't want a real intimate relationship with you. That's really the difference. I don't think there's much of a difference.
And I think that's where you're gonna find yourself frustrated as a man, and you're gonna be wondering all the time, like, because in your mind, I mean, I don't know about you, but I've been played, and it's like you think that you're getting somewhere with them, but you always just seem to be kinda, like, being strung along a little bit, and,
With
like
American women?
yes,
Well, see, the
and
thing about American women is they're usually seeing 5 or 6 other guys at the same time.
yeah.
Or if not seeing, they're talking to many others. So,
But you keep wondering I'm sure a lot of guys would relate to this, though. You've been with a woman and you are contributing financially and she has no problem with that, but, like, you just keep wondering why you cannot seem to get an emotional connection with this person, right? Like, they're holding back, right? Well, that's because they are holding back.
a lot of these women that were promiscuous in their younger years don't really have the ability to connect with you too much, unfortunately, since their brains are rewired. They just think of sex as a casual thing.
Mm,
So it's impossible to rewire that if you've done that for 30 years of your life. It's, you know, if you only see sex as a casual thing, you can't just switch that when you're 30. That's not gonna happen. That's why promiscuous women are dangerous. That's why promiscuous men are dangerous actually too.
right.
Not just a female only thing by any means.
No. No,
So
it's not.
that's yeah, I mean, there are a lot of lonely guys out there. That's just what America is. It's very atomized society today. Expensive, atomized, lonely.
Right.
And you gotta break yourself out of that because nobody's gonna do it for you.
And it is more of a problem for men because, I mean, men women always have options. Men, they don't.
Always.
So,
Yeah, they always do.
there is a difference between men and women, but, I mean, I would agree that, men can be just as shitty as women too, but at the same time, there's probably more of a loneliness epidemic for men because they just don't have options where women seem to always have, but not all women, there's plenty of women I know that are pretty lonely, and they wish they had some options, but they don't, you know?
Women pretty much always have options, they just don't always have the options they want.
Yeah, true.
And whereas men will settle for what options they have, women don't really do that, at least anymore.
In a way, that's really not a lot of different for men. I mean, I would say that men probably always have options, maybe just not the options they want. So really, in a way, it's similar.
I would argue there are a lot of men with just really, if you're talking about romantic options, I think there's a huge number of men that just have 0.
Maybe so.
A lot of it is, maybe some of it's by choice, but, but that's another reason to consider abroad, I think. It's just a different culture. There's
Yeah.
no fake people are gonna keep complaining about the whole dating thing in America, but it's not gonna get any better. It's the apps are not the reason why dating is so fucked up. It's the the culture has changed fundamentally. It's a gynocentric, female empowerment, you go girl culture.
Wow.
That's what it is. So there's no fixing that. The only fix, I mean, you can find your rare exception girl that's still wifeable. You know, maybe you find her in the church when she's fucking 18 years old. Maybe.
Maybe a Mennonite church. I still like if you look at
Maybe.
the
I mean,
churches today, I mean, if you look at the women in the churches today, when you're talking about a good Christian girl, I mean, they're still feminized or feminist minded. I mean, they can't help
uh-huh.
it. Yeah, you see it in the way they act, the way they
Well,
behave,
American
the way they
Christianity is very
dress.
feminized, is hyper feminine.
Hyper
So,
feminist,
yeah,
woman
American
centered.
Christianity is hyper feminine.
You
Yeah,
can
but a
go
lot
to
of churches have women pastors, and even the conservative ones. I mean, look at some of these fucking churches. They got Starbucks attached to them. They got these, pastors with like wearing like $3,000 outfits. They got Doc and Crockett shoes. Um, it's fucking obscene. A lot of these American churches are not churches so much as they are, pseudo spiritual community gatherings,
right.
where you have a narcissist tell you a bunch of stuff that's somewhat might have something to do with the Bible or something that happened in the Bible. So yeah, I mean that's what the culture is though. I don't so my thing is I don't participate in it or I try not to. And it's men and women are a product of their culture. So if we have a degenerate, porn heavy, overly sexualized culture, that's what you're going to get. And now we have so much of it that men and women are a lot of young men and women are just celibate too, and
Yeah.
they just avoid each other.
I'll tell
So
you a
I think
preacher
the
I
one,
like. You ever
yeah,
heard of, do you know Jesse Lee Peterson?
yeah, I know him, the black guy.
Yeah. I I mean I dig that guy. Yeah.
Yeah, he's funny.
I
I
like
hear him
that.
talk more about like political, racial issues than I do anything Bible related. But yeah,
I hear him talk a lot about relationship stuff. Um,
he talks about like black women a lot because he's a black guy.
yeah, I
So
suppose.
he talks about the black household and the family and all that stuff. Yeah, I mean he's not wrong, but
No.
my point is it doesn't matter church girl or not. It's hard to find a woman that's um reliably gonna be able to be monogamous and have a good relationship with you in 2025 in America. Because
Or not
like I
completely
said,
self-centered and just thinks the world is, about them,
well, that's what the culture tells them. It tells them to think that way.
right?
So if you're raised from cradle to 30 years old, being told that you're super special and super unique and
Oh
nothing you
man.
ever do is wrong and you don't need any accountability, then of course, you're not just going to change all that at 31 because you want to settle down.
I think that's one of the biggest issues I have with women is they don't take accountability. And I think that's a big issue for other men too. Like that's like women just they'll do anything like they can't be wrong. Like really? Like if you hear a woman say, "I'm sorry, I was wrong," like, wow, that's a unicorn. Like, what did you just say?
Yeah.
But for a woman to admit that she's wrong is a phenomenon to me. Like they will do anything to not be wrong. They'll say anything and do anything to avoid being accountable for something that they were wrong about. Like that's an American woman for you, I think.
Yeah, that's an American women. All women are like that to some extent, a little bit. Um, Even foreign ones, or at least Latinas are like that. It may be asking too much of them to be accountable. It's just I'd rather them not have do things to be accountable for.
Yeah, that's good. That's true.
They just need better behavior. Put it to you like that.
Damn. Better behavior. So Latinas, you think are the way?
Yeah, I do. Foreign ones, not Americanized ones. Yeah, because they're still raised in cultures that are family centric and they're not so heavily degenerated with feminism and nonsense. So the benefits of dating them are it's just easier and they're more likely to be able to like healthily bond with you and they're more exclusive. A lot of foreign girls from foreign cultures don't sleep with multiple guys at once. Like they would never do that. That's very culturally frowned upon. It used to be in our society too, but now it's like normal, even celebrated. So you just have a much higher chance of a healthy relationship with a foreign woman. But, you know,
I'd
that's
like
what I
to
think.
I'd like to talk about feminism a little bit more. That's one of the reasons that I wanted to start this show, The Uncensored Man, because I mean, honestly, I think about it a lot, like, and maybe I'm in the wrong here, but
Yeah.
since we since like the 60s and 70s with the liberation, women's liberation or women's rights movement, it's like from there it was like just a quick progression of our downfall. Like
Uh-huh.
marriage in society, like you were talking about the cultural norms, like marriage in our culture has just gone downhill. Like it's not celebrated, it's not revered. Women have been given more rights. They're the ones that file for divorce, not us, right? I mean, in my case, I don't.
70% of the time, divorces are filed by women. Yeah, that is true.
Yeah, I don't know. I really don't know a single man that's filed for divorce. All I ever hear about is the women that are just poorly mistreated and they've filed for divorce and now they want to go liberate themselves. And I think it all stems from, honestly, I think it stems back to what we talked about, that Rosicrucianism and the spirit of Satan. He wants to destroy the family. And how can he do that? This women's liberal movement. It's Satan. Like,
Yeah, I know you see it as a spiritual thing, and there are a ton of guys that are gonna agree with you on that for sure. You're gonna find a lot of resonance with it. For
and you see it
me,
as more of a cultural thing.
well, I see it as more of an inevitable thing. I mean, the fact is, a lot of people aren't gonna like hearing this, but the American women don't really need men anymore. You know, men are not valued, but they're also not valuable in many cases to women. Women, when they became financially liberated, and now they're doing even better than men since the 1980s, half of college students have been women, and the ratio of female to male graduates has only become more skewed. Women are making more money; they're more first-time homeowners. Although part of that is a lot of them divorce, and get a bunch of free shit that they don't deserve, and a lot of times that includes houses. But um, economically, they can do very well on their own. So they don't. It's just a fact you have to face that a lot of times women don't need men for that economic aspect of living. And then they spent 30 years in a culture that told them they don't really need intimacy, right? So men are not important. You can just run through them and you basically live like a male chauvinist did 50, 60 years ago. And so as a result, you have many promiscuous women, especially when they're younger. And so they never develop the ability to have intimate relationships. They don't need the economic side of things. It's like what do they need men for? Really? if you think about it,
Really?
under those circumstances. What do they really need? You know? Um,
They want them, they just don't. Yeah,
well,
I
do
mean, they
they?
definitely don't wanna be submissive to a man.
They don't want to be submissive, but that's true. In some cases, hard to blame them.
I mean, that's where I don't know, that's where I come from, like, a biblical standpoint, like, I mean, that's I don't know, I believe that way, but, I mean, I
Yeah,
don't see women as being
it's hard
submissive
for
at
it's
all.
hard. Yeah, I mean they're not. Women are today define themselves more like men. When you do surveys of women and ask them to describe traits, they typically give male, more masculine style answers. Like they describe themselves as ambitious and confrontational, aggressive,
I'm a
stuff like
strong,
that.
independent woman.
Well, it's just American women have functionally become men.
Right,
So, like, when you're a man, you don't need another man, really.
really.
It's like psychodynamically speaking, you don't. So, they never really are raised to see themselves as nurturers, mothers, supporters. So, I mean, again, this comes back to just this is what our culture is. Um, I don't know if Satan's behind it or what, but it's obviously a degenerated version of what we once had,
Right?
you know? It's definitely a worse, lower quality version for everybody, and so that's what it is. That's what feminism is. Feminism is a declining birth rate and men and women that hate each other and are atomized and miserable and without the ability for intimacy. That's what it is.
What's the answer?
The answer to fixing America? I don't know if there is one. For me, the answer is I just don't participate. I just would get to go date women in another society, other culture, and try to move out of this one
Wow.
if I could.
I would too if I
That
could.
might sound depressing, but I don't think it's depressing. I think it's just high agency. I mean, some problems don't have solutions. Cultural degeneration is like multifactorial, pervasive. There's not a whole lot that one man or even a group of well-intentioned men can do to change a problem of that magnitude.
It's
So
huge.
so, I mean, you're just left with finding an individual solution, and so that's what the individual solution is.
I like that individual solution. That's what you're left with, individual solutions.
Yeah, that's all. So what do you think? That was like an hour.
Yeah, that's at like hour 24 minus a little cutout.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So that might be good. I think it'd be good to document as the first one. I'll come on and do tomorrow myself at 9,
great. What about this
and
gentleman you were on this other podcast with? Do you think you could line up some guests?
yeah,
Yeah,
definitely.
that'd be great. What's his name?
That's Professor Sam Vaknin, Vaknin.
Okay. That
Yeah,
what was that TikTok show that you were just on?
Passport Bros, coach.
Passport Bros. Coach. Yeah,
Yeah,
that'd be a good episode to have on this show.
yeah, I will. Alright, man. Well,
Well, cool. Thanks for
yeah, I think
coming
that's
on the
good.
show and Definitely, we'll keep going every day. I think that, like your document says, it's just a daily show, and we'll just keep the episodes coming one way or another.
Sounds good. We'll see what happens.
Oh, yeah, we
Looks
shall.
good.
Thank
Alright,
you.
man. Good talk. Alright.
Good talk.
See ya. See you soon.
All right, we'll see you, Doc.